Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Sometimes it's hard to keep track. You know, when the crypto market never sleeps, it's difficult to know what time it is if you're watching the crypto market. I haven't been really watching it a whole lot lately. I just know that today, this morning, it's up. It's moving up. Bitcoin looked like it was over 38,000. Interesting to me because I think today the Federal Reserve, the Open Market Committee, they make a decision or they give guidance or whatever they're going to do today. You know, the expectation is that they're going to raise interest rates. And that's why you saw the stock market throw a little temper tantrum earlier this week, you know, and 11 points down in the Dow and then a recovery. I don't know. It's almost like it shouldn't matter in the crypto market, you know, what the Federal Reserve does and their rates, because crypto is its own entity. It's its own currency. It's on its own schedule. We know when Bitcoin, what the inflation rate of Bitcoin is. And every year, or I should say every 4 years, that inflation rate decreases. And you're like, wait a minute, why is Bitcoin inflationary? Well, it is because every block of transactions creates more Bitcoin. Every 4 years, I think approximately every 4 years, that block reward gets cut in half. It's the same with Litecoin. So I think right now with Bitcoin you get 6.25 Bitcoin per block. If you know your computer, the miner solves the block and verifies that block, then they get that 6.25. Litecoin, it's 12.5 right now. Next year Litecoin, the reward halves and it'll be 6.25. So it's inflationary, but it's becoming deflationary. It's a deflationary inflation. So there's less and less that's becoming available, and so that will just continually decrease and decrease until pretty soon your blocks, you're going to have point something. You'll have a fraction, as someone passes me here in a hurry. What you'll have is, see, they're in a hurry. They need, that's an inflationary driver. They need to make up some miles real quick. So what happens is you have fewer and fewer Bitcoin coming out every day, every year. Same with Litecoin. And it diminishes, and you'll have fractions of Bitcoin per block at some point. But it'll be worth a lot more, and those fractions will be worth a lot. You know, that 0.5 Bitcoin is going to be worth a whole lot of money. $500,000, let's say. Who knows? So it's on its own schedule. That's my point. You don't have to have Federal Open Market Committee meetings to where they decide, well, should we raise rates? Should we lower rates? What's that going to do to the economy? What do we need to do to manage the economy? And that's all it is. It's just managing the economy. It's crony capitalism. It's not real. It's not free market. I mean, it's rigging everything. But you don't have that with cryptocurrencies. But that's why I'm like, our cryptocurrency is going to be affected by this rate move if it happens. It may not happen. And maybe cryptos are telegraphing that, you know what? Rates probably aren't going to go up. The easy money is going to continue. And so if there's a lot more money, speculative money is going to roll into cryptocurrencies. It's going to roll into the stock market and, you know, that kind of thing. At some point, you're going to see a break, though, I think. But I don't think it happens until you have a real economic crisis, almost. A 2008 or worse style crisis to where everybody thinks banks are freezing up, things are going down the toilet, and then at that point you may see money exit the old system in earnest and get into cryptocurrencies and get into sound assets like gold and silver. But until then, you're going to see that steady flow, and that's what we've seen. We've seen, you know, people like you watching this saying, you know what, I got to get my money out of the system, I'm going to put it into cryptocurrency. You're going to see that steady flow, but you're also going to see the Wall Street speculators and the venture capitalists pumping up projects that really have very little technology built out, a lot of promise, but not a lot done. You're going to see a lot of that easy money coming from the Fed, coming from loans from banks at low interest rates. You're going to see that money going into the crypto market. So today's going to be an interesting day. Not that it really matters in the big scheme of things. Like I said, Bitcoin and Litecoin are on their own schedule. They are their own currency, and as more people adopt and more people get into it and realize, I don't need to use the old money, I can use cryptocurrency, as more people see that, it's not going to matter what the old system does anymore. You know, you can say whatever they want. It's just not going to matter. All right, so what happens today? Are they going to raise rates? They might not. I mean, we do have a lot of inflation in the system. There's no doubt about that. But are you going to start clamping down on that easy money when the easy money is what keeps the system alive? You know, so it's really this, they've got themselves in a tough situation where if you raise rates, you're kind of pinching that monetary supply and making it more difficult to bring money into the system, slightly more difficult, not, you know, it's still at historic lows, but you're making it more difficult to continually stimulate this economy, which needs to be constantly stimulated. So, you know, it's a tough one. Not sure what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It's just short term. Get parked here. Talk a little bit more. It's cold today. It was like -2, I think, and then the wind chill, I don't know, is double digits below. But yeah, a little cold here today. I'm going on a trip. I'm going to see Carlos and Hannah Estrada. After tomorrow, it's going to be Hannah Estrada. The coin vigilantes, you know, the watches that they create, the Bitcoin and Litecoin watches, they're getting married this weekend, and so I was fortunate enough to be invited, and they're good people, and so I'm going to go there. Travel to the cold. It's not any warmer there than it is here, really. Pretty much the same latitude, maybe a little bit different. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with the Federal Reserve and how that influences, you know, various markets, how it affects the crypto market. But at the end of it, long term, you just have to look at, you know, kind of what I was talking about. There's only so many that exist. There's only so many that are going to come to market. You know how many there are. It's very transparent. And so you can react accordingly. Right now, we're guessing, and markets are guessing. They're speculating. They're assuming what's going to happen. Are rates going up? Are rates going to stay the same? And see, there's that uncertainty, and that destabilizes markets. Markets want to know kind of, you know, what's going on. That's why I like Bitcoin and Litecoin. You know, I mean, people say, oh my gosh, well, it's going down in price. You know, now, you know, it's volatile. It's this, it's that. It's not volatile in the long term. It's volatile if you have a short time frame, because yeah, definitely it'll swing 50%. You know, it'll do a 5 times move up. But if you look at it historically, the long-term trend is always zoop, and that's just what it is. And so if you're not FOMOing into it, if you're not, you know, new and thinking, I got to get into it and I got to dump everything I've got into it, you know, and then you just dollar cost average, and that's probably the best way to do it if you believe in the technology and you think that it's going to be here for a long time, then you just dollar cost average. So basically, if you've got $50 a week, $100 a week, whatever you have, you set that aside, you forget about it, and you just throw it into the coin that, you know, has been a long-term performer. You throw it into Bitcoin. You throw it into Litecoin. Some people throw it into Ethereum. Ethereum just frustrates me because of their high transaction fees, so I'm not a fan of it. It bothers me. But you make money doing that. You know, long term, you are going to increase your holdings. You have to resonate with, you got to believe in what you're getting into as an investment. And if you don't, then it's just for a monetary play and you're just getting your money back, you know, so, you know, just get out of it then. Makes profits, get out of it. You know, just it's whatever your strategy is. I'd rather hold something long term because I want something to hold my energy, that I feel good, that I have control of, and then I'm not going to get, you know, not going to be put in a position where I want to move it and it's like, wait a minute, I want to move $100, it cost me $200. That doesn't make sense. You know, so who wants to be in that situation? Not me. And that's what you have with Ethereum a lot of times. But, you know, if you've got a lot of money sitting into it, you know, you got retirement, $100,000 in retirement sitting into it, and you want to take that out and it costs you a couple $100, then it's not a big deal. You know, it's just not. It just depends what your tolerance level is and where you're at, and only you know that. So we'll see what happens. It's Fed Day. I was going to talk about NFTs. I don't know if I want to get into that, you know, and that crazy feeding frenzy, you know, with NFTs, what's going on there and all the different platforms for NFTs. It's kind of crazy. And I see a lot of parallels with what happened in 2017. You know, they say history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. That's the rhyming feature of what I see right now in this current cycle. 2017, you had all these companies coming online, and they're great products. You know, it's going to do this, going to do this, going to do that. But there was no follow through on a lot of them, and a lot of them just disappeared and went to zero. The coins are worth nothing, or the tokens are worth nothing. So with the NFTs, I see a lot of that hype, that same feeling, that hype. Now, I'm not saying that NFTs aren't useful, because I had this conversation last night, and I guess we're going to talk about NFTs. I had this conversation last night with my daughter, and she's like, I showed her some pictures, some NFTs, and I said, look, that sold for this, that sold for that. And she says, but why? And this is somebody, you know, she's 17. She has, you know, had a phone for a while, knows what social media is, knows what this digital age is, and to her, she's, yeah, I know about them, but I just don't see the value in them. I totally get that. She's like, it's just digital art. I mean, you can just copy it. I said, yeah, you can. And it's, so I guess, you know, at that level, you know, a lot of people see that. Now, I explained to her, I said, okay, you want to go to this concert. You want to get a ticket to this concert. And right now, you know, you can't get physical tickets anymore. I mean, it's rare if you can, to where you get the ticket in your hand. It's all going digital. All right. So I said, well, what if they make an NFT of your ticket? And that's how you get in. So there's 1,000 tickets to get in. And so they're all verified on the blockchain. You purchase one, it gets sent to your wallet. You have it on your phone. You go, boom, there it is. You redeem your ticket and you get into the concert. Makes sense, right? Yeah. And I said, well, they could put like their artwork, you know, for the band, you know, or the concert venue. They could have their artwork attached to that NFT, and you can hold it in your wallet. It might be something that you keep. You know, you see how it is. You know, you walk into concerts, and they're like a movie theater. They've got the billboard of the movie, you know, Invasion. So you could have that image on your phone, and if you buy one of the tickets, you know, that NFT, that ticket, that token is attached to an image, or an image is attached to it, and you get to keep that. You know, so it's something kind of cool, a piece of artwork that is only one of 1,000. And I said, and you can have that. And then it also fulfills the practical purpose of getting you into the venue, because you've got a ticket and it's verifiable on the blockchain. And she's like, okay, yeah, I mean, I can see that. That does make sense that way. You know, so art, standalone art, and image, a digital image, saying that you own it and you pay, you know, $100,000 for it, and you can look at it on your phone, that's a tough one. It's a tough one for a lot of people. So what is the value of these things? Because, you know, you can come along and just change one pixel in that artwork and call it your own. You know, where are the boundaries, and who's going to know? They're only going to know if you have the certificate of authenticity. And that's really what the NFT is at this point, as far as, you know, how I see it. It's validating on a blockchain that you are the owner of a particular token that's tied to this particular image. You know, it's a certificate of authenticity. That's kind of all it is. But what does it really mean? I've never bought an NFT. I had someone, thank you, Charlie G. I had someone, a buddy of mine, give me one. Give me an NFT the other day, and just gave it to me. I didn't ask for it. And, you know, just Charlie's a good guy. And it was a Litecoin NFT created by a friend. And, you know, he bought it right away. And he's like, here, you know, give me your address. I want to send something to you. And I'm like, okay. And so I get it, and it shows up. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's like a little Litecoin logo. that she had created, a little Litecoin thing. And it was nice that he thought of me to send that to me. So I'm like, all right, cool. I've got an NFT now. But the funny thing is, another friend of mine, before I think that thing had sold, had screenshotted it, cut the circle, or, taken it and used it as his profile picture on Twitter. And I'm like, so that shows you, I own that NFT. I should say, hey, you can't do that. That's not yours. But how do you stop that? And this is a friend of mine. And, he thought nothing of it, I'm sure. But it's just kind of like, you really don't own it, do you? Someone else is using that likeness, that image out there. And what do you do? What's the recourse? I could say, hey, you got to stop doing that. And is he going to do that? He doesn't have to. What rights do I have at that point? I can show ownership of it. But how do I know that? How do I prove that, he's stolen that likeness? I mean, it's right there, but what do you do? What's the recourse? I guess when you're talking millions of dollars for an NFT and someone does it, I mean, you're going to pay the lawyers to go take it down, cease and desist. But it's just an interesting, and that little NFT costs like $15. It's just it's kind of a crazy thing when you really start to dig into it. But I understand the feeding frenzy and the FOMO that occurs because, I'm looking at the Elron stuff, the e-gold stuff, these NFTs, these Nogans and these Meyer punks and, all these different bats. And, I see these things and I can see how someone can get whipped up into that and really, I need to get those. I need to get those because if I get one of these, that's going to give me access to the new ones that come out. I'm going to be first in line. And it's just this game theory almost, to where you're like, okay, I'm going to get this and, I'm going to win and get more. And I mean, it definitely, I want to say preys on human emotions and human, get and sentiment, but it definitely hits it and activates it. And human beings start to, get wrapped up into that emotion. And you think, okay, you're paying, $200-300 for these images. What's the value of them? And some of them may be like a ticket, like a concert ticket that allow you to get voting privileges on a blockchain or special access. And I get that. And it's just an image attached to it. So you're buying leverage in some way or some sort of tool. And that makes a lot of sense. But the image for the sake of the image, it's kind of, that's a tough one to get your head around. It really is. So this NFT thing, I haven't really gotten into it a whole lot. I've never paid for one. And I just never, and I have I think 2 NFTs, one that someone gave me, a couple of years ago that they had made out of a picture, a digital picture, just taking a picture of something here on the property and sent it to me. And then the one that Charlie just gave me, but that's it. I guess I shouldn't say that, the NFT, I did create some quote NFTs on the Litecoin blockchain using OmniLite. And really they're just pictures of me, in just kind of funny pictures that I put out there, and there's so many tokens associated with it, just to try it. But, I have never bought them, gone out and actively pursued it. I don't know, I guess it comes down to, what's the real value of anything, and we give value to everything. If not for us, then nothing has value. So we value the money, it has power. We value the NFT, it has some sort of purpose. Just like a piece of art. What gives the piece of art value? It hits something in here. It resonates with us as human beings. Interesting thing about art is there's usually only one piece of art, and you can tangibly hang it in your room and wall and see it, and it's physical. With an NFT, with an art picture that is an NFT, it's only on your digital device. Just kind of an interesting thing. All right, we give it all value. That's how it is. If you want to give value to the US dollar, the Federal Reserve note, and you want to give it power, it's up to you. It's not doing you any favors, though, because every time they print more of them, the more it steals your energy. You can give value to Bitcoin. You can give value to Litecoin. You can give value to NFTs. If you want them to succeed, then you give your energy to it. That's how everything works. If you want your state, your county, your city, your local governing body to succeed, you give it energy and you show up. Maybe you run for office. It comes down to us and how much energy we are willing to give to make things better, to give them power, to change things in this world. It all comes from us. It's we the people. All right, I have nothing else to say. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Hit that thumbs up if you would. I appreciate it. Hit subscribe, and you know what? Hit the notification bell. Today was a little bit of a ramble. Hopefully there was something you got out of it. All right, I appreciate every one of you. I thank you so much for watching and taking time out of your day to do this. I hope you have a wonderful day. Love you all. Until next time.